Hello, everyone. My special guest here on the Gruesome Hertzogg Radio is my special guest, producer, writer, director, Artie Smith, for an upcoming film, LILIN'S Brood, in 2016. Artie, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on, and I want to give big thanks for your publicist for contacting me to check out the movie, which I haven't seen it yet. I figured let's do an interview first, and then I can do my review, and I can take from the interview and take for what I see in the film. But I did watch the trailer, my friend, and you know how many found footage, how many documentary films that I've watched and reviewed that I liked, and the idea of this film I have not seen in a found footage film yet, so I'm really anxious to watch this and give you my view on it.
Awesome.
So, you've done quite a few films dating back to 2010, am I correct?
Yes.
And the first one, this is a horror podcast, obviously, but I do like to talk about non-horror films. I mean, if it's not a horror, it doesn't matter. It just builds up your quality of work and what you've got yourself into, okay?
Yeah.
All right. The first film that I want to ask you about is a documentary. That's a key word, documentary. It's called Love Is in 2010. Now, these are available on YouTube, most of them, or all of them?
Yeah, well, actually, all of them. All of them should be available on YouTube. The Love Is actually is on a private link, which I'm planning to just kind of make it unprivate and just share it out. It was just one of those projects I did in college. It was something I was experimenting with, and then it ended up becoming like a 45-minute piece of just interviewing different people.
Okay, nice. So now, what exactly is it about? You can talk about that, won't ruin it.
Well, it's a documentary about the perception that cinema has on the perception that cinema has on the connotation of black love or minority love. And we so when I was just interviewing people and getting their interpretations of how they interpreted love and what love is, and then what they've seen in motion pictures, cinema, TV, how that's affected their perception of what they view as what love should be.
Huh. Now, if you would do a documentary on, I've heard this from a lot of black friends that I have, and they seem to be annoyed by it, but maybe because I'm white that I don't see it that way. But have you noticed in the old horror movies in the 80s, who's the first person to die?
Oh, man, of course.
I don't pay attention to that stuff, but they said, man, how come the brother always got to die first?
Always.
I'm sorry. Since you mentioned about the Love Is, but yeah, it's kind of interesting because, well, actually, there is an all-black horror film that I've watched, oh my God, about 3 years ago. And I've never seen an all-black cast horror movie before. And for damn me, I cannot remember what it was, but it was fucking phenomenal.
Really?
I'd never seen anything like that, and it was so cool because it involved these kids go on their family home, vacation home, and their freaking uncles and grandfathers and relatives are freaking killers and try to kill them. I was like, this is fucking amazing. I've never seen that before.
That sounds dope.
But I got to remember what it is, and I'll send you a text or something.
For sure.
So I can remember what it was. But, I reviewed like over, oh my God, 1,800 films. So sometimes they all kind of like either blend in together or, the mind can only handle so many memories.
Exactly.
But that was pretty fucking dope, though.
Yeah, that's
so anyways. All right, now the next one is a hallucination in 2013. Now, is this your first short film after?
Yeah, I would say it's my first short film after, and I was out here in LA that I shot it.
Okay, now what's that? What can you tell listeners about that one?
That was another experimental. Well, I say that one was more of an experimental piece. There was no dialogue, but it was a short film that just a woman, takes a psychotropic drug by accident. And she's starting to hallucinate, and she starts to see all of these crazy things happening on her walk home, per se.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, and the things that she's seeing are not real, but in her vision, she's seeing these horrifying images that are just causing her to kind of freak out.
Now, was that based on something that you've heard or read, or just an idea that popped in your head?
It was actually an idea. Me and my friends were just sitting around. When we had to come up with the idea, we were sitting around and we just threw around a bunch of different ideas, and then this one just kind of stuck, and we just went with it.
That is pretty cool when you think about it, because anybody who hallucinates can see anything.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest part about hallucinations. Well, not weird. I guess it's pretty. One person can see a fucking zombie chasing them down the road or whatever, and the next person can see a dog pissing on them, or it's cool how hallucination works.
Yeah.
Well, it might not be that great if you have them, but
yeah.
but I love the idea of your film. But I still can't get past that Love Is documentary.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I got to definitely check that out because I'm kind of curious now.
The only thing about it is just it's shot on like one of those home video cameras, so very home video quality. But
I do not care. I am a big VHS person still. I would sooner watch VHS movies, the old ones anyways, than DVDs. But that's just because I'm 47. It is what it is. Ain't that a trip?
Yeah.
That's your next film in 2014. See, I tried to be clever on a movie title and saying it at the same time, but I guess it backfired. But Ain't That a Trip in 2014 is a short film that you did also. What is this about, and the idea came from, and how was the perception of this one?
So the idea came from, it's basically based off of similar life experience, but not, just kind of loosely based off some things that I've experienced personally. But except for the twist that happens at the end, that didn't happen to me. Whoever sees the movie, but that's about a kid who's back home from college, who's planning to take a trip overseas, but then his mother gets into some financial situations, and he decides whether. It comes to a point where he decides whether he should sacrifice his trip to help his mother out, or just go on a trip and let her, wallow in her financial problems. And then, we follow him. And it's a dramedy, more or less. It's a drama / comedy that kind of just follows him, him and his whole thought process and figuring that out.
I'm amazed about how just by the variety of the films that you've done, they're very intellectual.
Thank you. Thank you.
You don't see that too often, because your films are like have meaning, or I like that about you, and that's interesting. Now I hope this next one doesn't happen, but did you like horror movies growing up as a kid?
Yeah, the thing is, it was a love-hate situation with me in horror. So I would watch them. Like, there was some I just, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I remember watching, and I was like, I'm good.
So basically what you're saying is, if a black man dies first in the movie, you fucking hate it, right? I'm sorry, that was a bad joke.
Nah, that movie was just crazy. And the scariest words. I remember a friend telling me this, and it's so true. And I'm like, the scariest words in a horror movie are based on a true story.
Oh yeah.
When I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I was like, whoa. I'm good.
Actually, it's not. I mean, the killer was, but not Leatherface. But yeah, well, like Wrong Turn, based on actual events. Do you imagine? Have you seen Wrong Turn?
No, I haven't seen it yet. No.
Dude, you gotta watch that. It's gonna fuck you up.
Really?
Because think about this: you have West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have hillbillies, and what if those hillbillies are cannibals? It says based on actual events, whether that's true or not. But what these people go through, I mean, there's no animals. I'll say that. There's no animals. They're all dead because they ate them all. They went to humans.
Crazy.
So I'll say more than that. You got to see it because, dude, I'm telling you, I watched 1, 2 was stupid. I love 3, and 4 and 5. They're starting it before the first one, which is kind of ridiculous. But the best 2 is 1 and 3. Just don't bother watching 2. Go get 1 and go to 3.
Okay, cool. I'm going to do that.
But it's amazing, dude. I mean, think about this. You're in the woods, minding your own business, just going for a walk, and someone has a gun or a bow and arrow pointed at you. And you have no idea. It's like, done. On the fire, he eat you. But have you seen that new, the Green Inferno?
No, that is actually on my VOD list right now. That's I'm
I'm gonna tell you something. You're gonna hate it.
Really?
No. Jonah, he's black. You'll see. We just talked about that. That is the most horrible scene in that movie that when I watched it, I was thinking, oh, God, if there's any more deaths like this, I cannot watch it. And I love I mean, it looked so real. Now, if you're going to watch that, then you must go on YouTube, type in Cannibal Holocaust in 1980. It's on there to watch for free. It's the very first found footage film.
Mm-hmm.
It's about these young college filmmakers. They go into the jungle. It was so real that the director, Ricardo Deodato, was arrested for murder because he told his actors to go into hiding. They thought that he actually died in the film.
What?
And they killed an animal in there. The animal rights people were after him, and he was locked up in prison until the actors came out of hiding. You got to see it. Because it says in the beginning, these actors and crew was never seen again. But it was done so well. And those natives, not natives, I guess what the hell they are, cannibals, they are so vicious. Now, a lot of them, some of them, I mean, you see some of these films, some of them, they don't deserve to die, but what they do to their people, I can see why. But, dude, you got to see it. There's a woman, there's a poster online that has like a pole going through his woman, impaling his woman. It looks so freaking real that they had that in the courtroom, and they thought he was actually killed. You got to see it. Watch the Cannibal Holocaust first.
All right.
Go on YouTube, watch that. And I'm telling you something, you're going to love it. But when it comes to the new one, I reviewed it. Poor Jonah. God bless his soul. I mean, the heavy-set guy and the heavy-set one in the bunch, and he thought, oh, they're being nice to him, and it is so violent and vicious that the graphics, the special effects look so real that I'm thinking, oh, my God. You put yourself in a situation. You got to see it. That's the best part of the film. And then, I mean, a lot of people are banging on it because it's Eli Roth. I mean, everybody wants to bang on Eli Roth because they're all jealous. This is the bottom line. I mean, it wasn't a spectacular film, but that death scene alone will make your head spin. It's brutal.
I got to check it out.
Yes, definitely do. Now, while you're on here is, like I mentioned earlier, LILIN'S Brood, 2016. You sent me the link to watch, which I have not watched yet, but I'm going to watch it tonight. Now, people out there who listen to this interview, you've watched films like The Dinosaur Project, if you did, or The Frankenstein Theory, or, I mean, there's so many types of haunted house ones. There's ones that I get mentioned in my review that get so sickening, but there's clever ones. Now, I watched your trailer, and I'll let you explain it, obviously without giving anything away. But when I watched the trailer, and I don't watch trailers, I never watch a trailer before I watch a movie, but I had to be somewhat prepared at what I'm getting myself into in this interview. Mm-hmm. And what I seen, I fucking loved the idea. So go ahead and tell the listeners about your film, and the possible release date and so forth.
Well, LILIN'S Brood is about a new media news coverage team that gets stranded in the middle of nowhere near a beleaguered brothel, and recovered footage will reveal what happens when they encounter these women with a terrifying secret. Now, these women that they're encountering are housed up in this brothel, and they are of you would say a supernatural sense, but and from the way that we developed it, we say that they've been beings that's lived alongside us since the beginning of Homo sapiens, or human beings as we know it. It's a story as old as the Bible itself, as old as Adam and Eve, since that's where the origins actually come from.
Yeah, like I said, it's people who like found footage, or I know they're going to dig this film. I mean, but now the idea of this, where did it come from?
Well, when Phil initially had brought me in, the idea had molded because Phil initially brought me in for early, like 2 years ago, when he thought of an idea to look into like a film that just had like a female creature that was kind of killing and overpowering men instead of like some horror films where it's just a man that's taking advantage. We wanted to have like a strong female kind of creature taking advantage of men. And then we developed it, and we kind of stumbled upon this mythology, the Jewish mysticism mythology of Lilith, who was the first wife of Adam, who was kicked out of the Garden of Eden. and who made it with the Archangel Samuel, who is Lucifer. And out of their union, they had these children called Lilin. Now, Lilins are beautiful women, beautiful creatures. Whenever you see them, they're probably the most gorgeous women you've seen, but they all have a deformity. Maybe a clawed foot, clawed hand, serpentine tail, maybe some deformity somewhere in the face or something. And that's where we kind of developed the story from there. We thought it would be intriguing, or if anything, more interesting to create a world around that notion, around these women, and kind of, move up from there and then see what we could do to kind of introduce the audience into their world.
Dude, I'm telling you something. Just by the way you explained that, it's going to make every listener want to watch that film.
Awesome.
Bravo to you. I mean, you have me hooked, right? Like I said, I've already seen the trailer, and once this gets released, I'm going to put the link for the trailer on the interview,
mm-hmm.
and I'm also going to play some of the audio of the trailer in this interview. But I'm telling you, it's an interesting, phenomenal idea, dude. If this thing is not, once it gets submitted into film festivals, dude, you're gonna knock the socks off of everyone. I'm telling you.
Appreciate it.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Actually, we've for people who don't know, we've released actually today on the 5th on iTunes, and next week on the 12th on Amazon.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I want to say February 5th, 2016, that is today, and it was released on iTunes. So for all you Apple fans out there who want to purchase this film, go right ahead and purchase this film. Give it a watch. Send comments to this interview to Artie, and who knows? But definitely, and then next week he says on Amazon.
Yeah, next week is on Amazon for Valentine's Day weekend. We released early this weekend in the spirit of Mardi Gras, because you and when you see the movie, you'll get why the spirit of New Orleans, the Voodoo culture, through our Mardi Gras. You'll definitely get a hint of that within our movie. So it's tied deeply within that New Orleans roots. So we decided to release it a week early for those people that, out there that will be interested during the Mardi Gras season. Dude,
you are a very intelligent young man. You know that?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's brilliant. I mean, the ideas, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass either, but the idea from Love Is to Hallucination to Ain't That a Trip to LILIN'S Brood I'm really psyched to see LILIN'S Brood now because I have the link and I'm going to be watching it tonight.
Awesome.
But I'll be putting a review up hopefully by Sunday, or I'm off Sunday, so hopefully by Sunday or Monday I'll put it up there. And, dude, now one question I ask you before I let you go. You have a name of your company. What is it called?
Some Serious Ship Productions.
And then what's the Mansa Mojo Brothers?
Yes.
Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Mansa Mojo Brothers. Yes, sir.
That is amazing. So, people, if you listen to this interview, which I know you will, definitely go to definitely go to iTunes, definitely purchase it, and definitely go to Amazon next week for who doesn't have the iPhone or the Apple products, and definitely go to Amazon and rent it, buy it, however you want. But if you guys want a taste of it soon, just go ahead and watch the trailer, and I guarantee you that you'll be sucked into this bitch in a heartbeat. So, Artie, I want to give you say a big thanks for you coming on today.
Thank you.
Again, I am psyched to see this film, and I'm very excited for you. And again, the short films, I'll post the links on the interview that people can check it out. Love Is, you're thinking about it down the road, but definitely check out his work. I mean, they're definitely going to dig this stuff, and it's a brilliant fucking idea, dude. I'm telling you, I love the concept.
Thanks.
All right, bud?
Definitely.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
But hold on, man. I'll edit this out. Just hang on there after I say goodbye, okay? So I want to talk to you a minute, okay?
All right, no problem.
I'll finish up. So I want to give you a big thanks, Artie, for coming on, and I want to thank your publicist for contacting me to Well, he contacted me to ask me to review it, and I threw in there, then I'll interview too. So I'm glad I did because I learned a lot today. I learned basically your mindset and intelligent ideas, and I can really see a lot of work in the future that you'd be doing that's going to make you very successful.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And listeners, don't forget, check out Hillbilly Horror Show on www.hillbillyhorrorshow.com. Check out me, the mumbling idiot Cephas. I want to say thanks, and you take care, Artie, and we'll talk soon.
Definitely. Thank you.
No problem. Bye-bye.